What's up, YouTube? We're gonna make a small first aid, kind of a little pouch, because what happens is most of the time you just need band-aids and stuff like that. So whenever my daughter or my son or my wife or myself, whoever, needs a band-aid, they get into the larger kits to dig for band-aids, or they get into the supply box to dig out band-aids and whatnot. So I just want to make a little small pouch we just keep in the cabinet that they can just grab this and it'll have the day-to-day stuff that you need instead of getting into the bigger packs or the supply box. And I'm going to put like thermometer or stuff like that in here as well, so it's kind of a one-stop shop for the day-to-day stuff. You know, it's not a splint or anything like that. It's just, I need a band-aid because I scraped my knee or whatever. So first thing, of course, it's black. For anyone wondering, the reason we landed on black for all of our first aid bags is it just kind of happened. I had a 511 Moab 6 that we converted into a med bag. It was black. It just kind of happened that way, and we've just stuck with it. So now all of our bags, pouches, packs, whatever, are all black. And of course we've got to replace these zipper pulls to red, and that's just kind of how it is in my family. Whatever works for you, you can use whatever color you want. I have a couple of red packs, but those are more for like vehicle packs. So if I'm like, hey, run to the car and grab the first aid kit, it's obvious for anyone not in our family to know what that bag is. These are not the removable kind that I use. They look like it, but they're actually, you won't be able to see it, but they're pressed. So I'm gonna have to just cut these 3 off. I've got my little bag of replacements, and I've got my little roll of red paracord. So we're gonna get this done here. I like to make my zipper pulls considerably longer to make it easier to zip and unzip. It's just easier to grab and unzip it if it's a longer zipper pull. So we'll kind of look here and decide what length we like. Sometimes when you melt the ends, they're a little too big to fit through the actual zipper, so I just kind of smush them. Because if they are like that, then you're going to have a hard time with the zipper pull ends anyway. So then I just kind of take them and I just kind of eyeball how I like the length to be. And that's pretty good right there. So we will make these top ones this length, give it a quick singe, and then measure it out and do it again. So here's how these come whenever you order them. You'll need an outer and an inner. And then I just like to gently, because these will snap, just kind of flex this plastic a little bit. It makes it a little easier to maneuver the paracord. It can still be a little difficult, but so now you take your outer, slide it in as such, and now we're going to put the paracord in this. These have little teeth, you can see that. So I give it a little flex. This is a lot easier if you gut the paracord, but I personally don't like to gut the paracord for this application. I just like to fight with it and make it work. And you can just kind of flex it, and you just want to get the paracord in there. You just snap that in there, and now we have our first red zipper pull. Now I'll do the rest of these and then we'll come back. And just like that, we have our zipper pulls done. This pouch does have the MOLLE attachments on the back. I just weaved them in there to keep them out of the way. It does have the elastic at the bottom, and I will probably put a tourniquet in there just because it's there, and why not have one that's easy to get to. This front pocket is just a pocket, and then in the main area we do have some elastic keepers, and then on this side a couple of goth pockets. So this will hold quite a bit of stuff. Let's get this thing loaded out, but before we do that, while it still sits flat, we'll go ahead and, there we go. Now it's a full-blown ouch pouch. Okay, as far as regular bandages go, we're going to go with some fingertip, a couple of different sizes of the larger ones, some of the little ones, a few different sizes of just regular ones. We're going to put some little butterfly strips in there. Got a couple of these knuckle bandages, and then a couple of the rather large ones, and we're just going to put all of these in a Ziploc style bag, little zipper bag, just to keep them together and dry and clean and all that good stuff. So this will be a good mixture of sizes and styles to cover most needs for day-to-day use. I'm going to throw a handful more of the butterfly ones in here as well, and then these will just be in here and fit in there. And as far as the gauze goes, we're going to go with a few different sizes of thin ones and a larger kind of a trauma style. And then I have a couple of these 4x4 dressings that we're also going to put in there, because sometimes it doesn't require stitches, but it may require some covering. And then we'll have the medical tape, and I'll probably put an elastic bandage in here as well. And then I have this little tube of triple antibiotic ointment that we'll put in there. Let me grab the rest and get this put together. Okay, so here is kind of where we landed. I did go ahead and put a new tourniquet at the bottom in the elastic. This isn't a trauma kit by any means. However, a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to have a tourniquet available pretty much anywhere where medical is, if at all possible. And I also want my children, family, anyone around me to become very accustomed and not shocked or scared of a tourniquet. I want them to be very versed in seeing them and knowing where they're at, because in an emergency situation, if you need this, I want it to be like, hey, I know where a tourniquet is, and be able to grab it within seconds. I don't want it to be a shock thing. I want everyone to be accustomed to seeing it, if that makes sense. Those of you who understand what I'm saying get it. Those of you who don't, I don't know how to explain it. You want to take away the shock and awe of it being there. You want it to be just muscle memory in your brain that I know exactly where it's at. So that's kind of the secondary reason I want this attached here. We got all the zipper pulls done and everything. I ended up putting all of the flat gauze bandages in this front pocket, multiple sizes. They're all right there. Then when you open it up, right on top is our stick it in your ear thermometer, because this gets used, fairly regularly if someone's not feeling well or whatever. There's that. I also put a triangle bandage. Goes by a few names. Triangle bandage. This is multiple uses. Right there you can see I shoved a couple of pair of gloves. Over here I added some finger splints, because if you cut your finger you may need to immobilize it while that cut heals up. I know I've had to in the past, and I didn't have these, so I had to basically find a popsicle, make it work. I ended up adding a full-size roll of medical tape to kind of go along with the finger splints and so on. Whole bag of multiple size Band-Aids. I mean, there's everything in here. Butterflies, knuckles, fingertips, you name it. And I also added one steri strip in here. Typically I'd keep steri strips in a different kit, but I want one available just in case. I also added an emergency blanket. It's just not a bad idea to have those available. Over here, I just have a tube of triple antibiotic, and then this is all the different little pouches. You know, whenever you get first aid kits, and you can order these individually, you know, there's some sting relief, there's some more antibiotic ointment, there's some alcohol wipes, there's some antiseptic wipes. You know, I just shoved all those in there. You may need to clean up a scratch. If someone gets stung by something and it's bothering them, we've got some sting relief. But yeah, it all fits in here pretty good. I'm sure as time goes on, we will add to this. I'm not going to say take away, because probably won't take anything away, but you know, you figure out what works as time goes on, and that's what led me to make this. Is I found out that our current system, although yeah, it's available, we were pulling from, you know, from our big med box to just to get a Band-Aid, or just to get, you know, some antibiotic ointment or whatever. This was kept in one of the larger kits, and it's like, this needs to be right here, and I don't like having this stuff just thrown in drawers and sitting around or in a medicine cabinet. You know, I want is everything where everyone in the family knows exactly where it's at, and that's happened organically over the years. That's how the black with the red zipper pulls happened. That's how my daughter knows exactly where everything is. So this is just going to be the daily pouch. Stay out of the big pouches unless it's an emergency. So yeah, there's that. I hope someone found this beneficial in some way, shape, or form. If you did, give me a like, leave a comment below if you think something should be added. Maybe something that I've overlooked. I'm not wanting to keep medications in here, so you know, other than a little bit of antibiotic ointment, because it kind of goes hand in hand with Band-Aids. And I know there's a lot of research and new developments that this actually is not good to use, but sometimes I've actually had this help on a couple of cuts before that were not deep enough to require anything, you know, suture or anything like that, but the doctor basically told me, you know, this is getting infected, use this, but only use it for a day or two to ward off that initial issues. And it worked, and it healed up great, and I don't even have a scar. So things change. Till the next one, take care.